Bro, let's get real. Have you ever poured yourself into a woman? Not just effort, but everything. You text her good morning before you even brush your teeth. You stay up late listening to her problems, even when you've got your own. You make her laugh. You hold her when she cries. You reassure her when she's insecure. You give her your love, your attention, your vulnerability. And at first, it feels like magic. She lights up when you text. She's excited to hear from you. She's affectionate, engaged, all in. But slowly, almost invisibly, something shifts. Her replies get shorter. Her "I miss you" texts vanish. The warmth turns lukewarm, then cold. And one day you realize, you're the only one keeping this alive. You're chasing, she's drifting, and you're sitting there staring at your phone, asking, what did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? Brother, I want you to hear this clearly. It's not that you did something wrong. It's that you stopped being the man she could feel pulled toward. You became predictable, too safe, too easy to read. And whether she knows it or not, that's the moment her attraction started to fade. Because women don't crave perfection. They crave presence, energy, tension, emotional gravity. Not drama, not chaos, but the kind of weight that makes her feel pulled into your orbit. And today, I want to break this down for you. Why women pull away, what's really happening underneath, and how to reclaim your edge without losing your heart. Point 1. She doesn't want to carry the weight. You've been told women want a man who's gentle, soft, endlessly available. And yes, they want kindness, they want empathy. But here's the catch. They don't want to carry both their storms and yours. When you're always trying to please her, always bending to her moods, always putting her emotions first at the expense of your own center, something breaks. Why? Because now she feels like she's leading, she's the anchor, and deep down, she doesn't want that role. She wants to know that if she falls apart, you won't. That when life throws chaos her way, you won't crumble with her. Think about it. When she's moody, distant, or unsure, what does she do? She looks at you. Not consciously, instinctively. She wants to feel if you're still steady. If you collapse when she wavers, she can't trust you. But if you stay grounded, calm, unshaken, centered, she feels safe to let go. That's the paradox. She doesn't want a man who matches her chaos. She wants a man who holds steady so she can surrender. Point 2. Stillness speaks louder than explanations. Most men don't understand the power of silence. The moment she grows cold, what do? They panic. They send long texts. They over-explain. They apologize for things they didn't even do wrong. And every extra word pushes her further away. Here's the truth. She's not reading your paragraphs. She's feeling your weight. She's watching to see how you handle her distance. Will you chase? Will you beg? Or will you stay calm, breathe, and let the silence do the talking? The man who doesn't collapse into over-explaining is the man who creates tension. And tension is attraction. Because when you don't chase, when you don't fill the space with desperation, she has to feel the void. And in that void, she starts thinking about you. Not because you demanded her attention, but because you didn't. That's what separates the men who get ghosted from the men who stay unforgettable. Point 3. Availability kills desire. Purpose creates it. Here's a brutal truth. When you make her the center of your universe, she starts looking for the exit. Not because she's ungrateful, not because she's cruel, but because when your identity, your happiness, your entire being starts revolving around her, it doesn't feel like love anymore. It feels like pressure. Yes, women want to feel chosen. They want to feel prioritized, but not at the expense of your purpose. The moment you orbit her instead of your mission, she loses respect. Because unconsciously, she feels, if I'm his everything, what happens when I fall apart? Who holds the frame then? She doesn't want to be your reason for existing. She wants to see that you already have a reason, a fire, a mission. Because when she sees that you're going somewhere with or without her, she doesn't feel pressured. She feels inspired. She feels pulled into your world. That's the kind of man she chases. Point 4. She craves emotion, not proof. Most men try to prove their way into love. I'm not like other guys. I'll never hurt you. I'll always be here for you. It sounds noble, but here's the secret. Love isn't proven. Love is felt. Every time you try to convince her, you leak neediness. It's like trying to sell confidence. The more you talk about it, the less anyone believes you. Meanwhile, the men who don't explain, don't justify, don't perform, those are the ones women obsess over. Not because they're manipulative, but because they're rooted. Their presence is undeniable. A man's power isn't in how much he says. It's in how little he needs to say to be felt. Point 5. Tests are invitations, not rejections. Let's talk about tests. Every woman will test you. She'll pull back. She'll pick fights. She'll go cold. Not because she wants to leave, but because she wants to feel your edges. She's asking a silent question. Can I trust this man when I lose myself? If you unravel at the first sign of distance, she doesn't feel safe. But if you breathe, stay steady, and let the wave pass, she feels something she rarely feels with men: respect. And where respect grows, attraction multiplies. So stop seeing her tests as attacks. They're opportunities to show her your center. Point 6. Energy outweighs words. You could memorize every romantic line in the world. You could say all the right things. But if your energy is off, none of it matters. Because women don't fall in love with words. They fall in love with how they feel in your presence. Her subconscious isn't asking, "What did he say?" It's asking, "What do I feel when I'm around him?" That's why some men say nothing and still draw women in. Because their presence speaks louder than any phrase. Point 7. She doesn't need a therapist. Here's a harsh truth. She doesn't need you to solve her emotions. She doesn't want you to be her counselor. What she craves is presence, calm, a mirror that reflects strength, not panic. When she spirals, she doesn't need answers. She needs to feel that you won't spiral with her. Care without boundaries looks like weakness. What she really wants is empathy with strength. Point 8. Your mission must always come first. This is the anchor. The man who orbits a woman eventually loses himself. The man who orbits his mission never does. When she sees that no matter what happens, your vision remains steady, your craft, your purpose, your legacy, she doesn't feel neglected. She feels safe, because she knows you won't drown in love. She knows you won't lose yourself. And the only man a woman can fully surrender to is the man who's already surrendered to something greater than her. So if she left, if she pulled away, if she stopped texting back, don't blame your heart. Don't blame her. Blame the version of you that forgot who you are. You don't need to beg for her attention. You don't need to fight for her love. You need to rebuild yourself into a man who's unshakable, into a man who stands tall whether she stays or goes, into a man whose life is so rich, so powerful, so magnetic, that love itself begs to stay. Brother, you were never meant to chase her. You were meant to become the man she could never replace. When you finally do that, when you stop pleading for love and start embodying power, that's the moment everything changes.